Thanks for coming over. This is Amodeus. Today's Dungeon Hunter Champions video is all about team composition and the role of the buff stripper. Now, in Dungeon Hunter Champions, there are a lot of raid bosses, including Elder Drake and Steel Widow, and they all make themselves stronger with buffs. This is not good for you, your champions, or your progression. Now, the solution for this is removing those buffs, and there are a lot of champions that do that. And lots of folks call these champions strippers. This can be misleading though, because all strippers do more than just strip. For instance, the best stripper in the game in my personal opinion is Wrona. Unless you need a stripper, healer, and skill cooldown champion, then the best stripper in the game is Light Boon Sister Xenia. I know what you're thinking. What if I need a boost attack, heal, and lower defense debuff on my enemy? Well, you're right. The best stripper in the game then is Cassandra. But if you don't need the heal, but you need everything else and a buff block, then the Nature Magical Girl is absolutely hands down the best stripper. Unless, of course, the boss is fire-based. So, see how this can get confusing, especially for a new player? So let's clear that up for everyone. Before we talk about champions, we need to talk about teams. And in Dungeon Hunter Champions, that means we have to talk about what the team goal is. So, let's take Arena for instance. The team goal is to win. Now, I want a stripper in Arena that can strip everywhere on the other team, regardless of whether they're in front, behind, or off to the side, because that's how Arena works. I also want a stripper that can deal damage. Now, this immediately limits our choices and who we can use and who we have to build, right? Or at least how they should be built to accomplish that goal. Now, a great champion that can do both of the things that we want, as far as stripping and doing DPS, is also easy to get, easy to skill up, and easy to build for damage. And that's the Water Crow Hag Wrona you see on the screen now. So now that we have the role defined on the team as our primary stripper and a DPS unit, we need to build her to do that. So if we look at her gear, we know that we want lots of strips. So we need to get her skills up as much as possible so she's fully skilled. But from a gear standpoint, the only gear that really reduces skill cooldowns is Adept. So we know we need to put her on Adept in order for her to be able to use the skill we're having her on the team to do, right? So now we know she's going to need accuracy to strip because that's how stripping works, right? But we also know she needs attack to deal damage. So we probably need some HP and defense to survive too, but they aren't nearly as important. So the best build for Wrona is the build that gets her to do what you want her to do on your team, right? If you want her to tank, then attack isn't important. I personally want her to deal damage also, right? So for me, I want high accuracy and attack on Adept. That's what I know. Now, precise would be nice if we have the gear, but the key is accuracy and attack. So after much testing, I found for Arena, the build that I want on my Wrona is to have a little bit more defense to survive, right? That first onslaught, because I need her to strip everything off so that in certain cases, we can actually have Diva go in and stun everybody. So for me, I actually went with Adept, Precise, Attack, Defense. Now, the goal is for her to strip and deal damage in Arena, but you're also limited with the gear you have. So getting as close as possible to what you want is just a good start, right? And then work from there, right? That's why we grind in the other dungeons so much. So let's see her in action against some heavy buff teams. And remember, buffs also include shields. And Rota can break shields with one of her skills. So she's an even better stripper for teams with units who have or give shields. So let's see how she does. Okay, so against this team, we know there's going to be shields and invulnerability. So let's just watch the right-hand side where their portrait icons are and see what we do with all of those buffs that they get. All right, here they go, and they're all gone. And now the team's coming in, and you can see that we're dealing damage. We're jumping in there, and we're smacking them out, right? So let's do that one more time, because it goes fast, I know. But let's go through that one more time. Watch the portraits on the right-hand side, and just see there's the buffs, and then Rona comes in, and then the buffs start to disappear, and and then they're gone, and there you go. And now she's just doing damage. So she did her primary job, which was strip, and then she's just doing damage. And that's all she wrote. Like I said, I know it's fast. We'll do another one, and that's important from like a rush hour standpoint to make sure that you run through them fast. But here's another team, lots of immunity, lots of shields. But once again, watch the portraits on the right-hand side, and we're going to see immediately. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, the invulnerability or the immunity didn't even get up, right? So now she's just going to strip. It's all gone. It's just nothing left but the crying. There we go. They fall down. Vampires fall down. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Wrona. See, this is why we have her on defense, even though she's defense broke. We need her to survive a little bit to continue to dish out that damage. Nice. And she survived. That was super sweet. All right. One more time. Keep your eye on the portraits on the right. Watch the buffs go up. And oh, that's even better when the buffs don't go up at all. So let's go ahead and get them stripped down. Oh, see, that's key, right? So that's why I wanted to do DPS, so that she has more roles than just stripping, because we didn't even need a stripper. We needed more DPS, and she was there for that. So that's great. That's great. Okay, now, are there other situations that you can think of where you would want to have more DPS, where you would want to have stripping ability? Hey, guys. Want to have stripping? Give me this gold. Who's up here today? Who's up here? Mr. Madhouse? I've never heard of you. Breezy. Breezy, what's up, Breezy? I like it. I like it. Okay, let's jump in over here. We'll jump into some adventure, and I can think of a couple of raids where this might be beneficial, right? I think you guys can too. I think you can think of a couple of raids, maybe Elder Drake, maybe Steel Widow. Probably Steel Widow more than Elder Drake, but Elder Drake still gets a buff, so we want to look at that because we still want to do damage. So let's take a look at that real quick. So in the raids, there are other options for strippers, right? But they fill different roles, as we said before. So from a team composition standpoint, having a stripper and DPS and Elder Drake is great. But we also need a defense break, and an attack buff would be great too. Well, we mentioned earlier there was a stripper that could do that too, and it was Nature Magical Girl Hoshi. So she's in the team right now, and you can see her starting to do the exact same things as a stripper, in addition to the things that we would want her to do. Lowering defense, adding buffs. She also does skill cooldown. That's awesome for a stripper. I mean, after all, she is the best stripper, right? So why would not run them both? So it makes sense if the team is capable of completing the goal for you to have two strippers. Why not? If they do more things, right? I need a DPS unit. We just witnessed the fact that Rona does great DPS. So why not bring her along? For us, I want to strip, buff, and deal damage. That's the goal of the team right now, as well as completing Elder Drake. So we have the ability to bring both of these strippers to do that, because together the team composition is supporting that. Okay, so let's watch them in action on the actual Elder Drake, though. So it's not a pre-flight team, but look at all the buffs that are going on. And look at the fact that there's no buffs on the Elder Drake. Like, because they're constantly getting stripped off, getting the breaks. Obviously, we did damage. This is going to be a sub 2-minute team, and these are all free-to-play units. Like, that's great. I wish I had that when I first started off playing, but we didn't. We didn't have that. we thought ongoing damage was the key, right? So this is an entirely attack-based or damage-based team, all free-to-play, and it's really going through and owning the Elder Drake, right? So I mean, here we go. There's not going to be a buff that's going to survive very long on this because Hoshi added the buff block, so that's just not going to happen. And then you just got the DPS coming straight from Rona, and that's great. Now, I think the same can be held true for Steel Widow. Now, this is where you really, really need a stripper and DPS, right? So, in fact, let's introduce another stripper into this team who can also heal, cleanse, debuff our allies, and decrease skill cooldown. These are all elements the Steel Widow team benefits from, and that's why Vamal is the best stripper. Or was it Wrona? No, it was Hoshi. Wait, this is a fire boss, so it can't be her. You know what? It doesn't really matter who you think the best stripper is. It matters if the team's composition supports and is supported by the champion you chose to strip off the buffs, right? That is just one of the roles that they have to fulfill on the team. So understanding this is key to building better and faster teams in Dungeon Hunter Champions. And this is just my part of the conversation. I'd love to know what you think in the comments below about different team compositions. Because when you look at what's going on right now in Steel Widow 10, this is a 100% free-to-play team, easy to optimize, that's running basically two strippers, right? And you don't need to, but because we are having a great deal of success doing specifically what we want, which is to strip the shields and the buffs and everything else off. Because remember, Vamal doesn't break the shield, but Rona does. She has a skill specifically designed to do just that. So she really fulfills the role, as well as Monas. That's what I mean, or Vamal. That's what I mean when I say it's important for the team composition to work together. But like I said, let me know in the comments below, because this is just my part of the conversation. I want to know what you guys are thinking, and I want to know how your thoughts are going. You know, what was your understanding as far as team compositions, especially if you're a new player, because this is really what this is designed for, is the new players. So if you're an in-game player, jump in here and let me know if we left anything out, because there's so many important lessons that we can share with people at this point. there's no reason for people to hit any stumbling blocks like we did. So, as always, thanks for watching the videos and have a great day. Bye.